Hello Box Live viewers, welcome back to the channel. Coach Sean, CrossFit Level 2 coach here, and we've got another exciting video for you today. This one is going to be on jump ropes. We have 6 different ropes that we're going to look at today. They're varying costs, speeds, and we're hoping to help you guys find the best jump rope for you depending on what you're looking for. We'll also maybe give you guys our opinion on which one was best overall, most affordable, beginner options, and the fastest of the bunch. So stick around for this video. There's going to be a lot we cover. I'll be testing them all out, and hope you guys enjoy the video. If you're out there looking for a new rope, maybe we'll help you find one. Okay guys, so the first rope I'd like to take a look at with you guys today is the Wasstu jump rope. We got this one off of Amazon. Let's take it for a spin. Okay, so it spins pretty nicely. A couple of things we can talk about right off the bat. Let's talk about the bearings. I can tell you guys that there's a little bit of jiggle going on from where the rope attaches to the handle. So that would be one thing I would keep in mind if you're gonna get this rope. It might loosen over time, and if it's already loose now, I'm just like wondering what this is gonna be like after a year of use. It certainly has a smooth feeling. So when I'm doing singles or double unders, it spins quite nicely. We'll talk about the handles. They're very light. The handles are lighter than the rope. That could potentially be a good thing if you're more of a beginner with the jump rope. A heavier rope gives you a little more feedback, so it makes it easier for you to feel where the rope is in relation to your body while you're whipping. With a nice light handle, you know, I think that's a great combination. It's metal, so that's cool too, because plastic sometimes has a little bit more of a cheaper feel. I like how this feels in my hand. There's some knurling on the end here, which gives you a little bit more grip. In terms of size, I'd say this isn't the thickest handle I've used for a jump rope, but it's certainly not the thinnest either, so probably somewhere in the middle. I already mentioned a little bit about the rope. It's certainly a heavier rope on the Wasstu. Not a plus or a minus, just depends on who you are and how you skip, and whether you like having a lot of feedback or whether you're a more experienced jump roper and you don't mind having more of a lighter, faster whip. Quick bearing test for the Wasstu. We're gonna spin the handle, and that stops pretty much instantly. So for the Wasstu jump rope, let's just talk about pricing here. This is one of the cheaper options out there, coming in at about 13 US. And is it worth it? For 13 bucks, guys, this thing whips really fast. It's certainly got some nice feedback with that like medium, heavier rope. You know, for 13 bucks, I really can't complain. I would just say if you're buying a rope hoping that it's gonna last you a long, long time, I wouldn't make any guarantees on this one. That would be my opinion on the Wasstu. All right guys, so I have here the Wod Nation jump rope. It's a speed rope that you can buy for about 18 bucks on Amazon. And let's take it for a spin. Okay, right off the bat, first impressions. Let's look at the bearings for a second. I'll just do a quick spin test. So this one spins for about 1 second and then it stops. I would say that's at least got a bit of a leg up on the Wasstu rope. Definitely less wiggle from the tip where the rope connects. So that feels like a little bit more of a solid mechanism there. The handles though, these are plastic. When we're doing our whips, the bearings feel smooth, but part of the thing with the plastic handle is even though the bearings are metal and the tip is metal, that plastic tends to make it feel like it's got a little bit of give. It feels a little bit flimsy to me. The size, it's one of these medium handles. Again, it's not super fat. It's also not the thinnest I've held. The length of it is a little bit on the shorter end. I mean, when I've got the handle at the base of my palm, there's not much sticking out at the end here, so I'm almost gripping the entire handle. So it's a little bit of a shorter handle that way. If you're someone who's got more of like a sweaty palm, you might be slipping out a lot easier as well. There's no grip on here, it's just a smooth plastic handle. Weight-wise, these are very light, and all of the weight when this is sitting in my hand feels like it's gravitating towards the tip of the rope, where the tip of the handle where the rope attaches. In terms of rope, so it's definitely a longer rope. Really had to shorten this one up to get it to the height that I like. And yeah, it's a fast rope, guys. You know, it's a thinner, lighter rope. So as I'm whipping, this thing moves real quick around the body. Double unders feel effortless compared to the Wasstu. But you know, that comes with its drawbacks as well. If you guys are newer to skipping rope, a newer CrossFit athlete, or just jump rope athlete in general, and you're learning double unders, you might have a bit of a hard time because there's way less feedback on a lighter rope like this. Price-wise, Wod Nation comes in at around 18 US. That's definitely still on the cheaper side of things. I would say it's a good value option. If you're just starting out and not sure you really want to spring for one of these more expensive jump ropes, this one would be something I would definitely consider. In terms of the bearing mechanism and everything, it doesn't feel super flimsy. I'm not such a fan of the plastic handle, but if that doesn't bug you so much, I think this is definitely a great option. Okay guys, so I have the Rogue SR-3 here. This one we got off of Rogue's website. Comes in at about 20 US. Let's just do a quick spin test. Okay, so that one's pretty much right around the same amount of spin as the Wod Nation. In terms of wiggle room at the tip, I would say this one is a little bit more flimsy than the Wod Nation, but certainly more sturdy than the Wasstu. Something to note here, I'm pretty sure this entire thing is plastic, including the tip. The tip feels like plastic to me as well, so maybe the bearing would be metal in there, but like most of this handle and mechanism is plastic from what I can see, and you can feel that. Let me just give it a spin. I'm certainly not such a fan of the entire thing being plastic. Look, at 20 bucks though, guys, you know, I think you're getting a lot here. It's a smooth whip from the bearings, even though it's plastic. I really think it turns quite well. The handle on this I'm a fan of. I like the length, and that there's a little bit of like a thicker base to it, and then it tapers out towards the end. The length is something that I like because it really gives you more feedback when you're whipping. Like you feel like more aware of what's going on with the rope. The weight of these handles is very light, which is can be a nice plus if you're someone that doesn't want too much weight in their hands. The more experienced you are, the more reps you're gonna do, the more tired you're gonna get with a heavier handle and rope. The rope itself, it's a long rope, but I would say for very tall athletes, there actually wasn't an extreme amount of rope length to play with right out of the box. So if you're someone that's like really tall, I'd say like over 6 feet, you might want to look into ordering like an extra cable, because this one wasn't extremely long. I barely adjusted it. It could be a little bit shorter for me, but you know, already right out of the box, it's easy to use. In terms of speed, it's a light rope, so it's gonna whip fast. And if you are a more experienced jump rope user, you'll probably like that. If you're less experienced, you might be looking for something a little thicker with more feedback. Let's take a quick look at the SR-1. This one's the same handle, but take a look at that spin. And it's still going. So the bearings on this one are much better. That metal tip, probably construction inside as well, because this thing spins really freely. Even though you've got the plastic handle, I think having that metal tip and bearing definitely adds stability to this rope. In terms of the rest of the rope, it's pretty much the same as the SR-3. So all I would say is, for $10 more, because the Rogue SR-1 comes in at about 30 bucks US versus the $20 of the SR-3, I would say that SR-1 is definitely worth the small price bump. This is still a cheaper rope in terms of pricing on the spectrum of CrossFit jump ropes or speed ropes, and I would say this is one of these ropes that like I would recommend to anyone, beginner or elite. It's a solid rope right out of the box. You're gonna have no problem whipping this thing. And I think it's a rope that'll last you probably better part of a lifetime. So we have the beaded jump rope here off of Rogue's website. Comes in at about 13 US. And this isn't a speed rope, guys, but you know, this is maybe something that a lot of us will be looking into in the near future. Crossovers are starting to be more of a thing, and we've seen a lot of athletes gravitating towards one of these beaded ropes for plenty of reasons. I think there's just a lot more feedback in a rope like this. So you guys have the visual element here. We've also got that sound, whooshing sound as it's flying past your body, and certainly a little bit more air drag because of the beads. All of these things just add a little bit more feedback as you're skipping. So if you guys are struggling to get those crossovers, and I am really not great at crossovers, so that was a good set for me. This certainly helps you just become more aware of what's happening with the rope as it passes around your body. You know, at 13 bucks, I'd say it's kind of a no-brainer to add to your training package, especially if you guys are trying to get better at skipping. You want to try those crossovers or double under crossovers. This is going to be a great add to your arsenal. All right, so the last rope we are going to look at today, guys, is the Elite Surge 3.0 speed rope here off of Rogue's site, coming in at about $45. Let's jump into it with a little spin test first. Wow. So this thing spins real fast. It's still spinning. Nice and smooth bearings. Let's talk about the pivot for a second here. So this rope is attached at the tip. So if I move it around, it won't slide, which for me is always a plus on jump ropes. If you're a beginner starting out, you know, any rope might do, but it's always nice to know that your rope is attached to the handles, just because, if we take a look at another rope for a second, as you whip, if there's a chance that the rope is going to slide around and come away from the attachment, you have greater chances of ending up stuck with that excess rope sort of flopping around. It also definitely makes a difference in terms of feedback when you guys are whipping. So keep that in mind. I think that's a plus. Let's talk about the handles here. These are small handles. I would say anyone that's got a bigger hand is gonna struggle figuring out how to hold this thing comfortably. And certainly the thickness of the handle itself, it's quite thin. It's quite thin. Again, someone with a big hand trying to grab this thing and get a good grip, you guys are gonna feel a little bit weird on this one because it's a very thin handle. Material-wise, it feels solid. The grip on this thing is kind of like a matte, little bit of a textured surface, which you'd think would help you out if you've got clammy palms or you're sweating during your workout, but already I can tell you it feels kind of slippery even with my dry hands. So that'd be something to think about. And the weight of these handles is quite light. Let me just take it for a spin. It whips fast, guys. In terms of the rope here, the rope it came with, it's quite long, so there's some room for adjustment. Speed-wise, this is a thinner, lighter metal cabled rope, so it's definitely a faster rope. Again, people that are just starting out might want something a little heavier, like the Wasstu rope, just because it gives you more feedback when you're whipping. All right, guys, before I wrap up this video, we've seen all the ropes that we're gonna cover for today, and I'd like to give you guys the best overall option, in my opinion, best affordable, best beginner rope, and then maybe the one that is the fastest of the bunch that we tested. Let's start with the best overall rope. That would certainly be the Rogue SR-1, in my opinion. For me, what did that entail? When I'm looking at the best overall rope, I'm taking into account not only the price, we're looking at how it handles, how's the feel, how's the spin, versus beginner or expert, and all of those things. And I would say that this one has just enough of a well-rounded appeal that it works for almost anyone. I think a competitor could use a rope like this. I think a beginner could use a rope like this. It's affordable. It comes in at $30. You've got the metal bearings, plastic handle, but it's that nice long handle with the fat base that I like. It's a fast rope. You know, in terms of what you're looking for something that might last you a good long time, this is the one. We'll move on to the best affordable rope. That would be the Wod Nation rope. So for the Wod Nation, we like this one. It's not the cheapest option of the bunch, but at $18, it's pretty close to the cheapest and is definitely well made, okay? Whereas the Wasstu, which was very cheap, had some wiggling in the bearings. This one definitely feels more solid. It's got the plastic handle, of course, but the bearings are metal. And I gotta say, this rope whips real well. It's fast, it's comfortable. It was easy to adjust straight out of the box. So let's put this one at best affordable rope. I think it's good for beginner to intermediate and advanced athletes. Would I use this rope in a competition? Probably not. For the beginners, we had to go with the Wasstu rope. Guys, this one is cheap. It's $13, but it comes with a lot of pluses, okay? It's a bit of a heavier rope, so be warned. You know, I think that's what makes it a great rope for beginners, is that extra weight is definitely gonna help you guys with feedback, which is often something we struggle with, is just being aware of where the rope is. All of these popular speed ropes out there, honestly, they whip too fast for beginners. You guys never get a sense for where the rope is as it turns around your body. So the weight helps with that. These are nice metal handles, you know. I also love that for such a cheap rope, This one does attach at the bearing, which again helps with feedback as well. Keep in mind that it may not be the most sturdy rope. I can't guarantee this thing is gonna last you for 3-4 years. The bearings wiggle around and stuff, but for 13 bucks, you really can't go wrong. The last category that I want to discuss with you is just fastest rope out of the bunch. We did that spin test. The Elite Surge spins like crazy. It's nice and smooth with the bearings, and it certainly does whip real quick. All right, guys, so that's a wrap for today. I really hope that you enjoyed our video on jump ropes. If you found it helpful, maybe we'll do some more in the future. We had 6 ropes for you today. We took a look at a bunch of different things that we thought made them great or not so great. Handling, costs, the feel, the quality. We looked at best overall, best affordable, beginner rope, and fastest. I hope this video helped you guys if you're out there searching for a new jump rope. Please let us know in the comments if you have any questions or maybe just your own thoughts and feelings if you've tried these ropes or maybe you used one of them. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys around for another video.